Hello everyone, I am Meghana PS working as an assistant professor in commerce, Government First Grade College, Baramsagra. I am discussing about the subject financial markets and services and module number 3 regulatory system. In this session, I am discussing about role of Securities and Exchange Board of India and various committees of SEBI. Objective of this session is to understand the role of SEBI and to aware about the SEBI committees. By the end of this session, you are understand the role of SEBI and you are aware about the various committees in SEBI. In the previous session, we discussed about the functions of SEBI. The functions of SEBI are divided into three kinds. One is regulatory function, and second one is development function, and third one is protective function. Regulative functions are carried out to promote the business of financial markets, and development function is carried out to develop the intermediaries and the investors in the market, and the third one is protective function to protect the interest of the investors and the intermediaries involved in the capital market. Let's discuss the role of SEBI. SEBI acts as a watchdog for all the capital market participants. Watchdog in the sense it maintains the surveillance of the acts of various capital market participants, which means they look after the activities of the capital market participant, and its main purpose is to provide such an environment for the financial market enthusiasts that facilitate efficient and smooth working of the securities market, which means it has to provide a healthy environment which helps the smooth working of an securities market. To make this happen, that is to provide a healthy environment, the SEBI has to ensure that the three main participants of the financial markets has to be taken care. So who are those three main participants? Means issuers of the securities, investors and the financial intermediaries. Issuers of the securities in the sense the companies, and the investor is the general public. Financial intermediaries means who is the linking pin between the issuers and the investors. Here the issuers of securities means these are the entities in the corporate field that raise funds from the various sources in the market. Means these are the companies who raise funds from the public or other sources in the market. So the SEBI role is to make sure that they have to get the healthy environment and proper code of conduct for smooth functioning and transparent environment which is needed for those companies. And the financial intermediaries means they are the linking pin, that is they are the middlemen who are acting between the issuers as well as the investors, means the companies who raise the fund, the investors who invest in their securities. So by the financial intermediaries, they helps to make the transaction smooth and safe. And the third party is the investor. Investor means one who invests their savings in the capital market. So the SEBI has a responsibility to maintain and to provide a healthy environment which is free from all the malpractices, because the investors are the savings of the general public, which is hard earned money of the individuals. Let's see the committees in SEBI. SEBI has several committees for different purposes. The first committee is Primary Market Advisory Committee. This committee has to ensure the development and regulation of the primary market as well as the regulation of intermediaries who are involved in the primary market. And the Secondary Market Advisory Committee, it has to look after the development of a secondary market as well as it has to provide measures to reduce the transaction cost and any other suggestion which are relevant for the secondary market. And next one is Commodity Derivative Advisory Committee. This committee has to review the development of commodity derivatives in the country as well as it has to provide measures to improve the commodity derivatives. And next committee is Research Advisory Committee. It has to define the objective, scope and area of research in capital market, as well as it has to provide strategy for execution of research identified, and it has to maintain the database of the research. And Committee on Corporate Governance, the main aim of this committee is to provide a proper corporate governance of the governance of the listed companies in India, as well as it has to provide some recommendations to the SEBI. Some other committees in SEBI are Committee on Financial and Regulatory Technologies. This committee helps in regulating the fintech companies which are involved in securities market, the development of those fintech companies, and opportunities and challenges of fintech companies. And next one is Advisory Committee for the SEBI Investors Protection and Education Fund. This committee advises about the protection of investors and how to impart the education in the investors. These things are advised by this committee. Next one is High Powered Steering Committee on Cyber Security. This committee has to study the major cyber attacks in India, as well as the law related to increase the cyber security in India. And the next committee is SEBI Committee on Disclosure and Accounting Standards. This committee advises on the disclosure requirements in offer documents, advertisements, application form, and also the disclosures of registration of intermediaries. So the disclosure rules and advices are provided by this committee. And the last committee is Corporate Bonds and Securitization Advisory Committee. This committee advises about the development of corporate bond market in India and removal of hurdles for the development of corporate bonds. So on these matters, it is going to provide advices to the SEBI. Let's sum up this session. In this session, we discuss about the role of SEBI as well as various SEBI committees. For the proper functioning of the capital market, SEBI has to take care about the three major participants in the capital market. They are the issuers of the securities, investors, and the financial intermediaries who are involved in the capital market. And in SEBI, there are several committees which are formed for the smooth functioning of the SEBI. These are the references for your further readings. Thank you all.